Hello again, this is Michael from Make It WordPress, and today we're looking into Cloudron. So just a small introduction, if you don't know me, I'm Michael, like I said, and I'm on the quest to find the best possible hosting for WordPress. And a part of the quest is checking out so-called control panels. This is software that helps you to install and manage WordPress on your own servers and on your own virtual private servers. So it's meant for professionals, for developers, for people who already have experience with WordPress. And many times it allows you to have a very fast and awesome WordPress website for just small costs, especially if you're running multiple WordPress websites. Having said that, let's look into Cloudron. In this video, I will go through the process of installing Cloudron on your own server, setting up the whole package, just going through all the features and what it can do. And I will also be installing a WordPress application. So Cloudron is a control panel which you can install on your own server. And you can use it to set up any kind of apps. And WordPress is one kind of app supported by Cloudron, but you can also use it to set up apps for analytics, for chat, to set up file server for product management, for CRM, for invoicing, for accessing webmail. And that makes it a very flexible platform for also your other needs. But having said that, it does support WordPress. And furthermore, it also helps to administer your server and keeps everything safe and sane. So how do you install Cloudron? You need to have a cloud server somewhere else. I'll just go to the install tab in here and run this command while logging in at your cloud server. So you need to have experience on how to execute these commands on your cloud server. And you need to set up a cloud server itself. So one of the cloud providers I really like is Vultr. You can find it on vultr.com, and it's a provider that offers cloud service from $2.50 a month. Pretty cheap already, and Cloudron also does really run well on it. So I'll be going to the site of vultr.com. Just go over there and spin up a server. So here we are. This is the site of Vultr on vultr.com, and this is a cloud provider. I'm already logged in. I'll just be going to my account, go to products, and then deploy a new instance, which is basically a screen to add a new server. As you can see, they have several options. Most times you'll just need cloud compute or high frequency, which is just somewhat faster. I'll be choosing the high frequency package, which is a really good deal. As I'm from the Netherlands, I'll be choosing Amsterdam as server location. So Cloudron works with Ubuntu 20.04, which I will select as the default server type. The server size, we can, for this video, a small size is enough. And a small size server is also enough to run a couple of small WordPress websites. If you're going to use this for production, I would recommend to turn on backups in case anything goes wrong. And you can also add a script which is run at startup of the server. I'll connect my SSH keys, which you can use to log in to the server. So just give this name. And deploy the server. And that takes some time. All right, our server is now running, and what we need to do is SSH into this server and run the command we saw before on the Cloudron website. So if you're not familiar with SSH, again, there are many articles about it, and there's also a link below in the description for this video. It's basically a way to connect to your server using the command line. So what you need to do is open a program such as a terminal on the Mac or PowerShell on Windows and type in a certain command, and then allows you to connect to the server. And again, on your computer, you have a special key, and at Vultr, I've added a special key because they're on both locations. It allows to log in to any of the servers at Vultr. So let's do that. So I've opened PowerShell on my computer. You can just find it by searching for PowerShell if you're running Windows 10. If you're on Mac, you can use terminal. And now to log in at the server, I can just hit SSH root at and then the IP address of the server. And I still need to enter the password, which I can just copy from the folder and paste using the right mouse click. And there we are. We're logged in to the server. And now what we need to do is run the command from Cloudron. So I just went back to the Cloudron website to get the command for the Cloudron installation process, and I'll just copy it and paste it in the server window, again using right click. And as you can see, the file is now copied, and we now need to run this file by hitting enter. And there we are. The package is now being installed. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes. So see you in a moment. So Cloudron is installing, and in the meantime, we can do some preparations, and that is setting up the correct DNS records. Because Cloudron needs a domain to function, it will install its panel on your server, and then you can access the panel from your server. And for that, we need to set up or point the domain to the server. So I will be doing that now. And for that, I will just be copying the IP address from the server, which is here on the Vultr website. And now you need to go to the party where your domain is registered. In my case, I'm using Cloudflare, which is a very inexpensive registrant for domains and also provides some extra services. I really love it. You can find it on cloudflare.com, and another good part is namecheap.com. Anyhow, just go to the party where your domain is already registered, and because this is already a pretty technical video, I assume that you know how to adapt your DNS settings. I'll just briefly show how I do it. So now I'm at the Cloudflare website, and this is the DNS management for my domain, or the domain of Make It WordPress. And what you need to do is actually add 2 records or 1 record. And as you can see on the front of the screen, the server is finished installing. First, you need to add an A record for my.makeitwork.press and connect it to the IP of the server, and don't proxy it, save it. And because we're also going to add a WordPress application using Cloudron, I will be doing that on a subdomain. I will just be doing that on host as a subdomain. Also add an A record. And then connect it to the IP, and this is the domain I will be using to host the WordPress application on later. So you will see it later. I can already add it now because we're in the screen. And let's save it. All right. I will now go back to the PowerShell screen and reboot our server. And we can close this screen. So what's the next step? The next step is that you need to go in your browser to the IP of the server. So it's still here in the screen. Just copy it. Open up a new tab. So I opened up a new tab, and you can just skip this security risk. Clicking on Advanced if you're using Firefox, accept the risk and continue. And there we are. This is the domain setup. And again, the domain we'll be using is make it WordPress, and this will be the main domain for the Cloudron application. And the dashboard will be available on the my subdomain, and that's what we just did before. Point it to the correct server. So it will be available on my.makeitwork.press. And well, you can connect it to a couple of DNS providers. Actually, what this does is that it automatically updates your DNS settings for all the domains you configure on Cloudron, and it is pretty great actually. So I will be just doing the manual for now, but you can choose any of these other parties to integrate with. It's important to do custom or automatic integration because it also sets up the correct records for sending email. In this video, I just want to show you how to install WordPress with Cloudron, so I will go for manual configuration now. And we already set it up manually, so it's fine. And we can hit on next. And now the domain is going to be added. Certificate is setting up. And now what we can do is set up an admin account so we can access our panel. I'll just do this and add some passwords. We're now ready to use Cloudron. Let's proceed to the dashboard. So as you can see, there have been no apps installed yet. On the top right, all the menus are there, and what we can do is go to the App Store. And what we need to do first is sign up with a Cloudron account. And if you don't have an account, you can make it in here. I already have a Cloudron account, so I can just log in. All right, I'm logged in now, and as you can see, there are many apps which you can add to your Cloudron instance. Really many open source apps. You can even install Minecraft using Cloudron. All kinds of applications for networks, social networks, chat applications, product management, just a simple LAMP stack, and so forth. All kinds of applications. And what Cloudron uses is containers. So each application will run in its own isolated container, which makes the platform pretty safe. We'll be just installing WordPress. You have two versions in Cloudron, the Managed WordPress version and the WordPress Development version. The Managed WordPress version is a bit self-contained. You cannot change any of the files hosted in this application. And the Development version, excuse my Dutch, version, you can change all of the files within the WordPress installation. So if you're a developer, choose the development version. It's much better if you're doing development or any customization with WordPress. Well, it's pretty easy. You can just click install. You can install it on the main domain, but as you remember, we pointed host also to this server. So we'll be using the host subdomain. So the nice thing is that there's a user management within Cloudron. So you can limit which users have access to this application. And on the top right, there's also a tab called users. you can use that to add other users to your Cloudron installation. And by the way, we're now in the Cloudron dashboard, which also runs on your own server, so it doesn't run from the Cloudron website. So let's just install this WordPress application. And it's being installed. It goes pretty fast, actually. You can look up some information about the app itself. It will automatically update. And we can also already look into the configuration. So while it's being installed, let's look into the various tabs. So you have the display tab, which you can use to change the label and tags, which will actually change how this app is displayed on my apps. The home screen of Cloudron. Location is actually the domain. So on what domain is this app hosted? So we went for manual domain integration, but if you do have an automatic domain integration, which you can set up at the installation process, records will automatically be updated if you change things in here. Furthermore, we can access which kind of servers, which kind of users have access to the server, and also we can see how we can SFTP to this application. You can SFTP to this application using the same password as you log in to this Cloudron server. Actually, it's not really noted here, but if you click on this small asterisk, a page will open of the Cloudron website, and it will explain what it does. And that's also a pretty neat thing of Cloudron, that there's all these small hints everywhere, and the documentation is pretty elaborate. And I also have a forum if you have questions, which is a big plus. Moreover, if you're on the paid plan, you can also ask them serious questions and have some more professional support. You can also set up how much memory and CPU this application can use. If you're just hosting one application, you can, of course, make it bigger. Furthermore, you can also change the storage of these applications and set it to another volume, or even an external volume of storage. Again, it's great feature to enlarge the storage of your applications. Now, our server already had around 32 gigabytes of storage, which is more than enough to run multiple WordPress websites. Well, you can see the usage of this application in terms of the RAM usage, and also I believe it's possible to see CPU usage, but not in here. You can change the robots file in here to limit these pesky search bots and fraudulent bots to access your website. And furthermore, you can also change what content can be served by changing the content security policy headers. Furthermore, you can change the default from address, which is used by Cloudron to send emails from your applications. As you can know, if you have WordPress and, for example, you have a form on your website, an email is sent out of the server. And this is the address by which it will be sent. It's really great that Cloudron also set up these things by default. So it can send emails by default. Many other control panels don't support this feature. Well, there's an update thing, which is about updating this app, because this is also an app which is supported by Cloudron, and it will be updated from the Cloudron store. Again, you can also do your regular WordPress updates. Furthermore, here you can create backups. Now they're created locally, but later on I will look into some settings that you can also set up backups remotely, so you can backup remotely all your applications. Furthermore, you can also use this backup functionality to clone applications. So I can create a backup, which I will be doing just now, and then a backup will show up in here, and I can just clone that backup to another applications, which is really useful if you want to set up a staging environment, for example, or just copy this and test some things out and so forth. As you can see, it goes pretty fast, the process. I can just click clone from this backup and also download the configuration or restore this backup. At last, you can repair or restart the app if something goes wrong, and of course, uninstall or stop it. Stopping app will temporarily stop it, and you can then restart it, and uninstall will remove the application and all of its data. So, by the way, you can just go to the link in here. Let's do that. And as you can see now, a pop-up will open, and well, this WordPress website by default is set up with the username, admin, and password change me, which is pretty insecure. You can use it for the first time login. We'll just open, I acknowledge it, and we'll just open this WordPress website. And there is just a very plain WordPress website. So now I'm at the backend. I can just use admin and change me, as you saw from the pop-up. And there we are. We're logged in. This is WordPress on Cloudron running on how to make WordPress. I'll just be changing the default admin password in here to anything. Change the password to anything. And there we are. Password is changed. So let's get back to our Cloudron panel. So here we are back again at the Cloudron panel, which was installed on my server. Again, it's accessible under the subdomain my dot and then your domain dot something. Let's look into some other of the neat things from Cloudron. You can see logs from here, which will open in a separate window. And you can see all the things that are happened on your server and with this application. As you can see, it's really technical. You can also open up a terminal in which you can do in which you can do some things with your application, and the terminal only connects to your application, so not to your server, which is really another great thing, that it's limited to only this container, which makes it more isolated and secure. So we can also use the screen to restart this application, add cron jobs, do some MySQL things, also log into our Redis database. Also upload some temporary files, download some files. So let's close this screen again. And here I am back at the Cloudron panel for this application host.make it WordPress. And at last, there's also a file manager. We'll open up again in a new screen. And this is just drag and drop file manager in which you can basically change all kinds of things for your WordPress application. So this is basically all the folders for WordPress, and you can go in there and upload new files and change things. Of course, you can also log in over SFTP. If you want to have quick access to the file manager over your panel, it's possible. I'll just go back to the Cloudron panel. Okay, there we are again. We're going back for a lot. So this is basically what you can do with an apps. As you can see, there are a lot of other apps in the App Store as well. So you can use GitLab to host your own Git repositories. There are a lot of other things in there. I think this is great. Discord for adding a forum. Ghost, which is another blogging platform, and so forth. I'll now be looking into the users functionality, which is here. And you can use this functionality to add new users to this Cloudron installation. You can just pick a name and email, and this user will get an invitation email. And once he clicks on that invitation email, it will be added to this panel. And you can also add groups and just add users to this group. Now, subsequently, what you can do now is go back to your applications and go to the configurations and then access control, and now limit the access, for example, only to this group. And by this way, you can collaborate with clients or developers and give them access to only their specific application. So that functionality works pretty well. And furthermore, there on the top right, there is your own account, your own profile, in which a couple of things you can change. You can change the branding of the panel, because now here we have Cloudron. We can change the name and also the logo. And now the name is Make It WordPress. Again, really great to make this platform more white label. Also, I can set up backups. Now, by default, it's on the local storage, but we can change it by going to backups here and configure. And many different kinds of storages are provided. So if you're using Amazon, if you're using DigitalOcean Spaces, which is really cost effective, using Wasabi, which is also a part I really like, you can just pick it in here. For example, if you choose Wasabi, I need to have an account. Add Wasabi and put up my bucket names and my access keys. And then that will be used for sending remote backups. Really great feature. And if you have Amazon S3, you need to fill in the Amazon details. And for using Backblaze, you need to use Backblaze details and so forth. Now, each of these respective platforms have a clear documentation, so you can choose any of these platforms of your liking. Furthermore, you can also set a complete system backups and schedule the intervals in here, which is now done every day at 11 p.m. and kept for 2 days. Furthermore, now you may have been thinking, how can I add applications with other domains to Cloudron? That's also possible if you go to domains and search. Now, I am running this on a free plan, but if you have a paid plan, you can also add other domains. And add your domain in here and add it, and it will just be added in here. You can also change the primary domain of this this server to any of the other domains. So this is a great way to make it support multiple domains and certifications. Furthermore, there's also Cloudron has an email support out of the box, an email server, and this domain is now configured for only outbound emails. But it's also possible to set up an email server and use our rain loops, say we're round cube, to access this email, which is really great. You can add email inboxes and add email users in here, so it also supports the possibility to have email. And furthermore, there is also an event log in which you can see all the things that happened. You have the network tab in which you can see the IP address of the server we're running on, also which IPs are blocked. And again, we can set up dynamic DNS settings and connect this platform to Cloudflare, for example. You can see the services that are running on this server and also restart them. And change the settings for it. For example, if you want Redis to have more memory, we can change it in here. And we can also restart servers and see the logs for each of these services. Furthermore, there are some general settings for your account, ID, time zone, and for updates. And we can also connect volumes, external volumes, to have more storage for this given platform. So I think Cloudron is really great to run applications, especially the paid plans are great because they offer more domains, better support. The only thing I don't like is that you need to, if you're using multiple servers, you need to install Cloudron on each of these servers. It's not like a control panel, which you can easily connect from one place to all kinds of servers. As I understood it now, I may be wrong. And furthermore, the out-of-the-box performance for WordPress is not really good, so you need to do some manual optimization. I load tested and it could handle around 150 simultaneous users per second. And it sounds maybe impressive, but I've tested other control panels on a similar server and they could handle up to 1,000 concurrent or simultaneous users per second with the proper caching setup. So performance-wise, it's okay, but not the best. In terms of functionalities and features, I really do like it. And it also has support for many other applications, as you saw, and offers a lot of flexibility for self-hosting. So yeah, I would recommend using Cloudron, and especially if you're a bit technical, you can easily set it up on your own service like we did in this video. If you have any comments or want to share something or have some tips, just put them in the comments below. There's also an elaborate review on my website, which is also put below in the description of this video. And thank you for watching and have an amazing day.